it's over. The Trojans take it to Kansas. USC is on to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2000.
What's going on, dudes and dudettes? A lot to talk about today, so let's get right into it. And yes, as you saw, USC made it to the Sweet 16. At first, they did beat Drake 72-56. Evan Mobley, of course, a star for them, had 17 points and 11 rebounds, along with 3 blocks. It's very good to see from him. Luckily, they were able to get past a team that, like I mentioned before, already played. So definitely happy about that result, but definitely more excited about the next one because just yesterday they beat the hell out of Kansas 85-51. Definitely surprised by that ending score. Didn't think they were that close. When I first did my bracket, I had Kansas winning, but very last second I chose USC, and I just figured they would lose the next game to Iowa, who actually lost yesterday. So it's actually going to be a Pac-12 matchup, Oregon and USC next Sunday, which is pretty crazy. Never really see that till way later in the tournament, but yeah, it should be fun. Hopefully we can keep going farther, make it to the Elite 8, maybe the Final 4, you never know. Should be very interesting, but definitely happy for all the guys. And of course it was the other Mobley, the older Mobley, Isaiah Mobley, who went off yesterday against Kansas, so that was great to see as well. Then the tight end for the New Orleans Saints, who was a free agent, Jared Cook, signed a 1-year deal with the Chargers for around $6 million. Not too crazy of a signing just because the offensive coordinator just recently came from New Orleans, so it's familiar with everybody. So it's pretty good pickup. At least it's only 1 year, but they're still going to have to find a replacement at some point at the tight end position. Then they also did re-sign their cornerback, Brandon Faison. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was that big of a deal, but he's good enough depth, but you still need some starting caliber cornerbacks. They also re-signed their tight end, Steven Anderson, who was an undrafted guy. They kind of took a chance on him. He was okay, so most likely going to be the backup to Cook anyways. And then they also signed a new offensive lineman in Ode Abushi. Hopefully I'm saying that correct, but he's been progressing very well up there in Detroit past few seasons, and he could play multiple positions, which is what they are looking for a lot in their offensive linemen with the Chargers, so that's always good to see. Then a couple of USC players signed some new deals in the NFL. Juju Smith-Schuster sadly is returning to the Pittsburgh Steelers on a 1-year deal. Obviously hoping he would come to the Chargers, but maybe he's just waiting an extra year until there's more money in the NFL, which is what a lot of guys are doing. That's why they're on 1-year deals. Good luck to him. I don't know how much more good Big Ben is going to be, but we'll wait and see with that. And then Adoree Jackson, one of my favorite cornerbacks from USC. He was with Tennessee, but they let him go, so he went to the New York Giants, signed a pretty big deal. I wouldn't have wanted the Chargers to sign into this deal, so I'm glad they didn't, but it is a 3-year, $39 million deal, so congrats to him. At least they believe in him that much. So we'll see what he can do out there in the NFC East. Then yes, the Anaheim Ducks, they finally won a game here and there. They beat Phoenix 3-2, and it was only more of a big moment because both their young guys, the 2 top draft picks the past couple years, Trevor Zegras and Jamie Drysdale, hopefully I'm saying those names correct, they both scored their first goals finally. At least they're starting to let the younger guys play. I don't know why it's taken so long for them to do that. It's ridiculous, but they got 1 win, and I think yesterday they just barely lost by 1. So a lot of these losses are like 1 or 2 goal scores, and it sucks. Their season could look a lot better, but they aren't able to finish, which sucks. And then the new USC transfer defensive lineman Ishmael Sofser, he's going to be held out of spring practice this spring, according to Coach Clay Helton, because he's dealing with a compartment syndrome in his leg. It's the same type of procedure and thing that happened to Michael Pittman Jr., the ex-USC wide receiver, when he was with the Colts last year, where he had to miss about 6 weeks because it's like a blood clot or something like that in their leg. Luckily and hopefully it's not too crazy, so he can return for summer activities and get ready for the season, and hopefully nothing bad happened surgery wise, but good luck to him. Then also a couple bit of Lakers news. So they released that guy they had on 2 10-day contracts, Damian Jones, the center, but they did leave the door open to where they might be willing to re-sign him, depending what happens in the buyout market, everything like that. They might have to, just in case. Then there's been a lot of crazy trade talks with a lot of good players, a lot of good role players that you didn't think were going to be available, especially like a Montrezl Harrell for the Lakers. He's been recently put in trade talks, pretty crazy, but his contract is big enough to where you can get a good enough player in return. Even KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, has also been put out there because he has a longer deal with more money, so you can get someone else on a 1-year deal and then be able to re-sign guys next year like a Taylor Horton-Tucker, Alex Caruso, Dennis Schroeder, guys like that. But yeah, even a lot of teams are still calling for Taylor Horton-Tucker, but Lakers want a proven player, I guess, for him. If it was a trade, they don't want to just do like a draft pick. So we'll see what happens, but definitely coming down to the wire here. I think it's this week. It's either this week or next week. It's when free agency ends. Or I'm sorry, the trade deadline ends. So it should be very interesting. Then ending on some, well, really quick, some Chargers news. So there is a cornerback that was recently released from the Chicago Bears last week, in Kyle Fuller, who was first round pick for them, did very well, has had a good career so far, but they had to let him go to save some money. And if I'm not mistaken, he's still available, and Chargers definitely need some starting cornerback help. And if he wants to just come on a 1 or 2 year deal, I think they should put a little bit of extra money in trying to get him, because he is one of the better cornerbacks out there in the league, in my opinion. And then yes, the draft picks for the 2021 NFL draft are finally set. The Chargers know officially what numbers they're picking, so let me just read it to you real quick. The first round, they are picking number 13. Hopefully it is a lucky number 13 this time. Second round, they're number 47. Third round, they get 2 at 77 and 97. In the fourth round, they get 118. Fifth round, 159. The sixth round, they get 2 again at 185 and 198. And in the seventh round, the last pick is 241 for them. So we'll see what they can do. Hopefully they don't do something stupid like trade 2 consecutive round picks just to try to get into the first. I think you could trade like maybe both of your third round picks to get back into the first instead of a second and a third to do that again. But we'll see. There's a lot of good options late in the first round if they want to go back in there, I believe. Then to end on a lot of Lakers news. So yes, sadly, the Lakers lost a legend, a Hall of Famer, 11-time NBA All-Star in Elgin Baylor, one of the better Laker greats out there. Never got to see him play, obviously, but definitely heard a lot of great stuff about him. You always see him on highlights and stuff, and always talked about. He's always at Lakers games as well when you're able to go. But yeah, it's tough. Sad news. A lot of the whole NBA community is hurting. A lot of good words spoken about him the other day. So that was good to see. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to win this championship for him, because it sucks to lose a legend like that. Yeah, sucks a lot. And then the Lakers, yes, they did beat the Hornets the other day for their 4th straight win out of the All-Star break. LeBron had a great game because this was like the 3rd game they played like the top 3 picks in the NBA draft last year, and it was LaMelo Ball, who's been considered the runner-up or the main guy for Rookie of the Year this year. But of course, he ended up getting injured the other day, so I doubt he's going to win it this year. But he did okay against the Lakers and LeBron. But LeBron, they were still able to get, I think it was like 115 to 106, something like that. And sadly, in the very next game against Atlanta, Solomon Hill of the Atlanta Hawks kind of dove weird towards LeBron's ankles and ended up giving him a high ankle sprain. And then they found out that he's going to be out about 3 to 4 weeks, I believe they said. So of course it sucks because even Anthony Davis hasn't returned, and hopefully he will return before LeBron does, but you never know. They could be keeping him out for precautionary reasons, but I think that's why the Lakers are trying to get as much as they can during this trade deadline or even the buyout market. If you could trade one player for two solid players, I think that's what they're going to try to do. Maybe save some money in the end, but yeah, it's just a lot of bad luck. It's always what happens to teams that go far in postseason play. They always end up breaking down. Just sucks that the Lakers did it after the first year. He's hoping to do it after, the second or third straight title, but we've been pretty lucky here in LA. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day, and yes, fight on. Check in, I believe it's Sunday, like around 5 or 6. They should be playing Oregon, so definitely looking forward to that. Hopefully they will win. Fight on.